Welcome, everyone, to Rebirth, a D&D Tale. Session 4. Last we left off, our band of adventurers came across the crystal structure that they had been climbing this hill for. It was large and protruding out of the ground, lots of other crystals kind of surrounding it in a smaller fashion, but the largest formation making almost a building of sorts with a stone slab floor with runic carvings that none of them seem to recognize. And upon touching with their hands this crystal structure, it began to speak to them. But as the conversation went on, more and more was revealed that this structure, whatever it was meant to keep a creature bound. That potentially removing any of its components, even just the small crystals at the base of the hill, would weaken it. And as the group decided that they weren't going to tangle with something much bigger than they were, something interesting happened. Something that Shay had not accounted for. That her human visage would fade away in a moment's notice and reveal a translucent skinned, beady, black eyed, humanoid shaped creature. Still speaking with her voice, still with her clothing, still the same size, just odd. Very peculiar oddity. But as the Goliath amongst you said, he would protect her. And thus the party went to sleep, calling it an evening as the excitement of everything has potentially exhausted most of them. Rune taking up his usual sentry position as the only creature in this party that does not require sleep of any kind. But the party rests, and the dawn of a new day greets you over the horizon above the treetops. It's late in the morning by the time the sun kind of creeps into this dense foliage. But there are those of you who have your morning rituals, and those go on without any hitch. And you are free to go about your business as you would. And Shay, when you attempt to collect yourself in the proper manner, quote unquote, you do find that it is still something you can do. It's perhaps that the excitement and the exhaustion, or maybe even the interaction with the crystal itself, is what caused your visage to fall.
Well, she is audibly relieved. Big sigh when she finally, crawls up and gets out. I think she's still being a little bit cagey with everyone, but not avoiding, just a little cagey.
And you can see that after some morning prayers, Lagon and Darius have gone to fixing a proper breakfast that is, you know, much better than the rations, the dried fruit and nuts and dried breads that you bring along for you for camping. Seems that they were able to catch something, be it small.
During my morning ritual, as I shove the surefall staff into the ground and kneel before it, I would like to use mold earth
Mm-hmm.
and shape water to like have a ring of dirt and water swirling around the staff.
Okay, okay. So both of those are your cantrips for you, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so you can do them both kind of one at a time, as per the rules with spells, and you can kind of kind of do this little bit of a juggling act. So what does it exactly look like, Kinwin, when you do this?
It's got like two circles crossing each other, like the earth one going this way, and then the water one going this way
Mm-hmm.
around the staff.
It's pretty impressive as he's repeating the gestures and the words of these cantrips, these very easy minor manipulation spells of the world around him, and does it with a. I'm gonna actually ask you to make a performance check, Kinwin, to see just how well you're able to pull this off, because it is a little bit of a performing act.
10.
10. You're a little out of practice. It's a little bit of a stumbling, but having collected some water from the freshwater stream just a little ways away, and kind of tossed it in the air and kind of chanting your bit of druidic magics and kind of doing the same with the dirt around you. It's going to take some practice to perfect, but it's solid. You at least get a couple rings going before it all falls to the ground. And those of you watching this are free to be impressed as you like.
Yeah, Shay's definitely watching. I mean, she's never really seen a lot of magic in practice, so uh she's definitely paying attention. Um I think though that she's gonna kind of find a moment to kind of sidle up to Vanya, um and as they're kind of like getting putting stuff together to move or whatever we're doing and getting ready, she's just gonna give Zephyr like a good scratch and just kind of say, I'm we weren't on the road very long. Sorry I never mentioned it before.
It's actually understandable. And something like that.
I mean, I, I
You're
I
fine.
hate the way you guys kind of had to learn. It's just, I've always been afraid of what, like I never knew what I was looking at, and it's a lot. I always thought it was a curse, and so it's a lot for me to even kind of process right now. I can't imagine, for you guys. So,
Yeah, we could have found out a little bit better. But hey, we know now. You know we won't turn on you.
well, and I promise I'm still thoroughly me, I think.
Well, according to Zephyr, you've always been you.
And Zephyr
Well,
just kind
that's
of
good
like
to know.
gives you a bit of a head bump, Shay. Kind of an
Oh,
affectionate little head bump. His kind of
she'll reach
long
down
wolfish
and
snout, kind of just like bumping you.
Yeah, she'll reach down and give him another nuzzle, and she's like, "Well, you can always rely on the honest opinion of the critters."
Exactly.
Thanks, buddy. And she'll give him another like scratch, and then she'll stand up and continue helping like get ready, or if anybody seems to need help. She can't lend much on the strength side, but she can still tie a knot.
Out of curiosity, Coffee,
Sure.
I was wondering if I could roll a history check on any sort of understanding of what Shay is.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
Now that you've had time to think about it, Rune.
How do these add a little thought? So 11 plus 5 is 16.
Her appearance is strange. The translucent skin, the beady black eyes, it doesn't strike you as a humanoid creature, you know, amongst the many of this world that you've ever seen, much less heard of before. The only thing that resembles it to a degree, but it's not exact, is you've heard of the creatures called doppels from a while back, from ages before, that for all intents and purposes would blend in to their surroundings over a period of time and take on features of the environment or the people around them or anything of that sort. And no one's seen or heard of something like that for decades, at least centuries maybe.
Interesting.
But that's the closest thing, not something as seemingly quick to revert like this.
Questions. Rune is going to approach Shay. He the way he walks to her is very businesslike, very like upfront. But after spending some amount of time with her, he tries to present an open body language.
Mm-hmm.
Like he walks up all business like and then he stops and then he just like
Relaxes.
Relax. Yes.
Yeah, I'd say Shay definitely, when she notices Room heading in her direction, she definitely tenses a little bit, and then seeing him make an obvious attempt to like open up his body language a little bit, she relaxes and gives a hello, good morning.
Good morning. Shay, I have questions regarding last night.
You and me both, but I'll answer as best I can.
It is appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of a type of being called doppels? Are you affiliated with these beings?
I have never heard of such a thing in my life. And I've tried looking in the libraries, and nothing has ever described me as I've experienced me.
I see. Do you often take this other appearance? Or has it actively been something that you mask?
I usually have no problems being me. It's just when I'm asleep, I'm not conscious, and I always have to like recollect myself in the morning. But otherwise, like what happened yesterday was very weird. Very, very strange. I've never felt anything like it.
And Shay, you see Rune's eyes do the little aperture zoom in thing again, and you can almost see an expression of him connecting dots in his head of, oh, that's why you hid under the blankets all the time. That's why you want to sleep privately.
An almost literal light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
She says, yeah, and I mean, I say like, if Lagan is still good with giving her his bedroll, it's still kind of just like that's just how she feels most secure. So she still sleeps in a cocoon. So she says, yeah, like even now that everybody here knows, it's still just I'm so used to doing it, like either sleeping in a private room in with a locked door, or in the last few days, wrapped up in total. Uh, I'm used to it, I suppose.
It is a matter of habit.
Hmm. And I guess to be safe, I don't suppose do you think you and I have to ask everybody else too, but mind if this stays between all of us until at least we know, like, nobody's gonna just hang me because of it.
Rune puts up his hand and kind of like hovers it over your shoulder for a second before clenching his fist and just putting it back down. But you see that he nods. Your secret is secure with us.
Thank you. And oh, I'm sorry, was there something else, Rune?
I was going to say, as long as you are under my and along with my affiliation, I second Lagon's notion. You will be protected.
Oh, well, thank you. And I wanted to apologize for earlier, well, a few when we were still in Bilgewater. I wasn't trying to extort so much as I was a little worried about not getting anything. I just wanted everybody to for the work. I wanted to be paid not just for samples, but to be sure we had some assurance for the work and the information in general. I didn't mean to overstep any boundaries, so I apologize if that is I want to apologize if that is if we got off on the wrong foot.
Listen, your apology is accepted. I understand the reasons. Unfortunately, this trip has brought us a lack of lucrative means per the contracting. But my intent is to remain with this group until I can assure and secure payments.
Well, I certainly enjoy being with everyone, including you. So if we don't all scatter after this is all said and through, I'd be happy. I'd love to keep traveling with you and everybody.
Rune nods. You see there's, once again, just some sort of like whirring going on behind his head, analyzing something, and you don't necessarily know it, but what he's thinking is the words, you saying you enjoy traveling with people. He's thinking about that part kind of hard.
Yeah, probably not understanding the emotions and what's going on. I think she starts to get like she's been nervous the whole time in general. But she definitely like she doesn't know how to take it. She's trying very hard not to offend, but I would say it's probably to anybody even remotely aware. She's trying to be polite, but she doesn't understand what some of the perhaps noticeable characteristics of Rune when he's thinking or considering something means. And that there's a level of discomfort. She doesn't like not knowing what something means. As somebody who prides themselves on being able to read people and persuade and lie, it makes her very uncomfortable.
So, like, to Shay, she's just, like, talking to a wall. She's like,
Yep. Just, yep.
Oh,
Yes.
poor girl.
Let's stay friends. Best to stay friends. Yes.
Rune pulls out his notebook, his journal, and a small pen. And he flips to an empty page, and he shows Shay something very shortly. And it's a picture of her. And it's very, like, the imagery is very Da Vinci. It's very sketchily.
Oh. She tangibly relaxes. And says, "Oh, wow.
I
I didn't know you could. I'm sorry. I didn't know you could. You drew in this way."
I perform studies more than anything.
Well, I mean, that looks like art. So that tends to lean towards creativity.
I suppose so.
It's a very human thing to do.
And you see he becomes rigid again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It is no
Sometimes
matter.
there's this issue. Sometimes I have a thought and it comes out my mouth and it's lovely. Very, very, very lovely. It is. I really do like it, Ron. Thank you.
It's no matter. I had a request, which is my purpose in showing you this. At some point, since these circumstances have been revealed, would you allow me to perform similar studies of your other form as well? There is no obligation, of course.
No, I understand. It's not that I mind. Sorry, I've never really thought about like intentionally letting it go. I've never intentionally let it go. But I can promise to try.
Odds. It is appreciated.
Just maybe don't like put my name or anything on those pictures. Maybe?
I will do as you request.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I think if that's if we do I'd prefer if we even though everybody knows, I think I'd still prefer that in privacy. If you don't mind. I just don't know. I've never really, like I said, I've never really done it intentionally, and I don't know if there will be any more of a mess than there was yesterday.
See. Define private. What are the specific accommodations you seek?
Oh, I really didn't think that far. Um,
Oh, did we lose her?
Uh, gotta go. She just walks off. I'm like, I didn't think that far.
am I back?
Yeah, you're back, pal.
I saw my video go down to 1 and I was like, that would be my internet having a hiccup. Okay.
Oof.
So, yeah, she's like, I mean, like we're out in the woods here. I've never really thought about the definition of privacy aside from, you have a level of like there's nobody else around that equals privacy. So I mean, in theory, uh a well-guarded bush in the wilderness, or behind some well-guarded bushes in the wilderness with nobody else around, would I suppose suffice for privacy as well. I don't really care that much about the wildlife. It's just I don't want to spook a commoner.
Understand. I would not do anything outside of your comfort either.
Oh, and I know there's also I should probably tell everybody. Was there anything else? Just for us?
Suppose this happens to be what I needed.
I mean, if there's ever anything else, it's fine.
He holds his book up to his chest and does a very polite bow. I appreciate your time.
She returns it with all of the decorum equal to acknowledging another noble.
In fact, acknowledging another noble in your culture, Shay, is more akin to holding your head way higher than the others.
Yeah, it's
Bowing
just...
is seen as lowly.
Yeah, well, Shay doesn't really think herself higher than anybody else, and Ruin gave her. She's going to do the same in a respectful fashion.
Would also like to assure you, my studies do not exceed beyond myself. It is merely for my own satisfaction.
Oh, well, that is good to know. So I think yes. If maybe we can get a private room, I can try. Just maybe not out here in the wilderness. Maybe doesn't suffice for privacy now that I've had to think about it.
I will let you know when I have acquired the arrangements.
Well, that makes it sound so official. Okay. Appreciate it. Anyway, I do want to let everybody know of something. And with another kind of light nod of respect to Rune, she'll kind of walk past and kind of try and meet the eye of everyone and say, so if at all possible, I would really like it if the fact that I'm not human apparently was kept between us. My full name is I think I told you all last night, Shakran Lavista, from the Lavista family, pretty high order, and they don't know. Like, my mother doesn't know. And I'm very afraid of what might happen. I'm not entirely ready to be disowned by my family yet, so if we just don't mind it being our secret, that would I would really appreciate it.
Your secret is safe with us, Senora.
If that is what you wish.
I have no intention of telling anyone.
And you get nods from Lagon and Darius.
Oh, thank you guys. I don't know if I ever really expected. I mean, I've read about like true friendship, and I mean, my two siblings are friends, but I don't know. It feels like we're you know, friends, and it feels nice. Thank you guys. Also, Kinwin, your magic is amazing. And then she goes back to whatever needs doing to leave.
Well, you finish breakfast and you pack everything up to get ready to go back down the rest of the hill. It's probably going to take most of the day, as going down the hill is a lot easier to do in some cases than going up the hill, because it's easier on the body, it's less intensive, and that's you could be happy for these small things, the walking back to this little town, where this town at the base of the hill, where did you have anything that you wanted to do at this little farming town?
Is there a general store?
Not really a general store. There's the individual farmers who maybe have goods that they'd be willing to sell, but they don't really have a store here. The merchant comes by every now and again to collect supplies to take into the city, and then pays the given farmers back what he was able to sell. So he buys off of them, and then he turns around to resell it. But as far as the general goods store, you might be able to find one or two things that might be sold by an individual. What are you looking for exactly?
I am planning to purchase a tent for Shay.
You probably won't find that in this little farming town. You're probably closer to finding that in Seameat.
That's good.
Because Seameat is the big town of the island. The rest are kind of small, or lighthouse posts, those kinds of things. The real kind of metropolitan center is the Seameat Canal itself. But
out of curiosity,
mm-hmm.
do they sell basic materials such as, like, simple
Leather, canvas, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we can make a tent, because that's something Rune can do.
Well, making a tent would be, as easy as putting up some canvas between a tree branch and things like that. But to weather treat it, that's gonna take some materials to find. So to weather treat it, to block the rain, the harsh sometimes snow, other things like that, you're gonna need things like wax. And they don't sell enough wax here to do that. But you can get the canvas.
It might be more resourceful to just go get
it at Seameat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Based on
I
cost
think
and time.
the only thing, of course, Shay wants to do, and I would assume she's going with Lagan, because Lagan has shown a particular interest in making sure the donkeys, Clip and Clop, are well taken care of.
Yeah,
So
he is still on
assuming
duty for that.
if we're not stopping here for the night, and we're gonna camp on the road, is that the plan?
So if you're going straight from the top of the hill back to Seameat, it is a couple days travel by donkey and cart, and your cart is kind of small to be able to lug all of you, but
Yeah, I
know.
assume some will still have to work. Of course, I paid for them, and the card's on lease, so I can't leave it behind. But that's all she would be doing. She'd be going with Lagan to get them ready to go, and if we're leaving, uh, if we're gonna camp on the road for the evening, or if we're just gonna lay over here. Are we just going to lay over here for the night, or we're gonna keep going?
About what time is it when we actually get back to the town?
When you get back to the farming town, it is past nightfall.
Oh, so
So yeah, we would likely stay.
okay. So then she just goes with Lagan to take care of to check on, make sure they're still being well kept and they're all set and good, and then she'll I assume go back to that little inn that we've got.
Yeah, that tavern would be another. It'd be another 2 silver, or not 2 silver, 2 copper each. So it'd be 2 silver total.
I have literally 1 gold piece.
I'll pay for it.
All right. Since you're a returning customer, he's happy to help you out in a time of stress, and of course, he's happy to serve you drinks. If you're looking for drinks, add an additional 2 copper each. But otherwise,
I mean,
Oh,
I want to be clear. I don't mind putting my gold, the 1 gold piece. I'm just saying, all I have is a gold piece. I don't know if we could split that.
Don't worry. I've got it.
I've just been splitting money at will when spending it. Should I not have been doing that?
Sorry?
You've been splitting money at will when I'm spending it. Like, I'll just take away a gold and give me 10 silver.
I mean, all I have is a gold piece. So you have 10 silver?
Yeah, if I could just convert on the fly, but if I'm not supposed to do that, no.
well, I don't have rules against that. If you have a gold piece, somebody's gonna be able to
the
make
case,
change. Yeah.
I'm a standby. I have 1 gold piece left because it makes sense. Shay would have gold. So yeah, she'd
So 2
absolutely
silver
adore
total?
10, yeah,
I
10
can pay
silver
all
for a
that.
gold piece. So yeah, she'll give you a gold piece for your 1 gold for your 10 silver. I will put that on my sheet.
I've already paid for the room.
Yeah, I typically don't have rules versus how much exactly you have of copper, gold, or silver or whatever. Somebody's gonna be able to make change, especially if
It's
it's a
only
small
important
amount.
when you want to bludgeon someone with it.
I take it Rivers bludgeoned some people with gold.
I'm not saying he hasn't.
But you're able to wake after spending a comfortable night, in a communal space, but it's comfortable. It's beds. It's not the ground, and some of you, your backs are happy for the relief. The and when you wake, there's breakfast to purchase if you would like. Otherwise, you're spending another ration, and you'd be back on your way towards Seameat.
Rune is content with not eating or sleeping as he is. Before anyone else even wakes up, he would have been making sure that Clipper and Clopper are fed, taken care of, getting them brushed down for the rest of the venture home, and getting...
Yep.
Do we still have a cart? Did we get a cart?
Yes,
We
you
have
have
a
a
cart.
cart on rent. Yes.
Okay. Making sure that any materials or supplies we needed on the cart are there.
It has an emergency repair kit should you need it.
Oh, beautiful. Not that I necessarily need it.
Yeah,
Um,
if Rune is showing some concerns about needing a repair kit, Shay starts to reflect his concerns because it is on lease, and she's like, "Are you expecting trouble?"
no.
Yeah.
Simply wishing to make sure that there is no trouble in the future, and that we are prepared for it should it arrive.
Oh, okay. I mean, the donkeys are ours, but I mean, I still like them alive and wholesome. But the cart is on lease, so I'm a little bit more concerned about that because I definitely want to return it in good standing. I don't want him to try and argue me even one ding. We didn't ding it. That's my point. I did the walk around and everything.
Perhaps we should pool our money together and purchase a wagon that we could all fit on.
I'm not
Would
opposed
be-
to that at all.
It would be ideal for travel. However, it is not an inexpensive product to acquire.
And Lagan would speak up and say, if you plan on purchasing a wagon, that does count as cargo when you take it on a ship somewhere. Same with
I imagine
donkeys.
so. Yes, I imagine so.
And he
There
also
is-
is
We already
brushing them
have them.
down and feeding them too.
As we already have the donkeys, might as well get something permanent so that they can pull.
But we'll be going on ships frequently, no?
It depends on where we go. Really.
Yeah. I mean, and upon return, I'll get 4 gold back. So we can put that towards maybe purchasing it again. If I remember correctly, the whole thing in total was a little. It was more than I had, and I had 23 gold, I believe, or
Coffee?
22.
It's also a small cart. I think something that can hold at least most of us, if not all of us. Would it be better?
I have
I
an
know.
alternative.
Yeah, and like the cart could only hold Lagan and Rune when we came down here. Just for the record, I remember that being the case. So we may not be able to buy this cart for everybody.
No, something bigger, like a wagon.
Rune did have an alternative.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Rune.
No apologies necessary. As opposed to a cart, I'm aware that there are certain products circulating of a magical property. How much does Rune know of bags of holding?
That is going to be a difficult Arcana check.
Phew. Oh, 5. Let me see. That is 16 again. Wait, no, pardon, that's a 14. Oh, wow. 14 plus 5 is 19.
You're not sure. You might have heard that there's maybe been some developments into the idea of storage containers that have a fairly deep, if not infinite, well inside of them. But last you heard, they were still in development by the Grioran Empire, and you haven't really had a chance to look into it since.
I have a theory.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess the big question is if Rune has an idea of like a magical item or proponent or like the development of a object, as long as there is, it's on the within rules of artificer infusions, which includes common and uncommon level magic items.
Mm-hmm.
Could I develop it? Because bag of holding is kind of within the list of things that I can make. Mm-hmm.
Right. So we've discussed before that the way that you infuse objects to become magic items is far and away so much different than the way that common magic items and things of that sort are even created today. That your magic is in some ways much more ancient. So translating it into a permanent item, that will take time because you have to go by the common rules, the common usage of magic in this particular area. But to have an infusion, that's temporary. So of course that's something that you can do as part of your class.
Okay.
So if you have the ability to infuse, for instance, a storage container like a portable hole or a bag of holding or something to that effect, it is going to look very different compared to what others may have seen in their lifetimes. But it is still something you can do.
Right, so you're saying I have the opportunity to flavor this. Okay.
You do. You have a lot of flavor text that you could throw into that because your magic is so much different than the common.
All right. Cool. Love that. Rune speaks up. I believe it may be probable to create a structure that can contain most of our belongings in a rather sordid space. I will have to expand on it, but it may not be necessary to acquire a cart. However, I don't wish to get rid of the donkeys. And he pats one on the back before continuing back to the cart.
Yeah.
I'm sure the wheel is all set up and all of that.
They're good animals. I'm a little partial to them myself. I mean, war horses are nice and all, but can you get more dependable than a good old animal like Clip and Clop here? I mean, I couldn't afford any saddlery. Perhaps better use if you're talking about this bag that can hold anything is to, put a saddle on them both and then the I understand I might be one of the lightest, but they're small. So when I say then they could carry at least the lightest of us, then I'm not trying to. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Ride them instead of make them pull something. Or we could at least turn them into pack animals. We could buy packs for them. So we wouldn't need a cart, but we could still have a pack saddle to hold stuff. And they still have purpose. And they're good for, mountains and stuff, I've heard. Sorry, brain to mouth. I told you. My apologies. I will try.
Sometimes your overthinking can be cute.
I mean, I just like to be prepared and consider all the options.
Have I seen draft horses before? If I have, I can become a draft horse for an hour to help out.
Rune turns to Kinwin at that.
Yeah, so does Shay.
And his eyes just zoom in. Demonstrate.
Full swivel. What? What did you say?
I
Okay,
also can, but
I would like to wild shape into a draft horse to show.
This is new to Rune.
And Kinwin, what does it look like when you transform?
As my body slowly starts morphing more and more into a horse, as I go on all fours and my face elongates, my clothes disappear, And then there's just like a big gray horse with a dark mane standing before you.
I need a second. The way you described that for a second, my brain immediately decided to turn that into like an Animorphs thing.
I was about to say Animorphs, yes!
Thank
I
you.
was worried I was too old. Yes! But as soon as like she like she's like a hard blink at the horse that's now there, and then she looks over to River like, "You can do it too? You can do that too?"
Yes and no. And he just kind of gestures at his cape.
What's it?
The can just... It's still there.
So you'd be a three-legged horse?
No.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I can't put weight on it.
Oh, so I mean, still kind of like a three-legged horse.
I suppose.
With four, but sorry. Anyway, that's incredible. That's incredible. She looks at Kinwin, who's now a draft horse.
Mane kind of blowing in the wind a little bit.
Very regal.
Can I still talk as a horse?
What's that?
Can I still talk as a horse?
No. Sadly, you cannot, but you still have your mental faculties. So your intelligence, your charisma, and your wisdom are still the same as if you were a human, or half-elf in this case. And your physical traits, your strength, your dex, and your constitution are those of a draft horse. So this is where wild shape gets a little bit, different than say a polymorph. But we can get into that when polymorph rules actually become something of an issue. But you still have your same mental acuity. You can still understand language. You can still kind of respond to what it is that they're saying. You just have no ability to speak because a horse doesn't.
Speak to other animals as a horse.
I think that we would have to rule if you wanted to speak to another animal. Because horses and donkeys, for instance, don't speak the same language, in a way.
Okay, so without the magic of my spell, it's only other horses would be able to
Understand anything that your body language or anything like that. And even then, it might be a little bit hard for them to gauge because you are a half-elf pretending to be a horse. Instead of using the divinely gifted, mannerisms and kind of quote-unquote wordplay that are used by the animals around you that Speak with Animals would allow you to have. So it would be like you speak a different dialect that other horses wouldn't be able to understand at the moment. There's a language barrier.
I mean, I'm having some thoughts that are difficult to process, but it doesn't make it any less incredible. So, how long are you a horse? How long is he a horse? And she kind of looks to River as the potential expert in the matter.
Usually about, I think an hour.
Yeah, it would be about an hour based on Wild Shape's abilities. So
So
he's
are we just like hanging out in the stable at this point, like, or hanging outside wherever the like ready to rock and roll in town doing this, or are we on the road?
you can you haven't. I don't think that you've left the little farming town as of yet. You're kind of
I
trying to
haven't gotten
determine.
that impression either.
Yeah, you're trying to determine how it is that you want to go about this. So, Kinwin is a draft horse, so he is able to carry a rider if he so desired. But at the same time, who in the party would feel comfortable using Kinwin as a horse?
Admittedly, it doesn't even cross Shay's mind, so she doesn't speak a word of that.
You know, and do you want to pull the cart for a bit?
Again?
Rune pulls out his notebook and scribbles something in there very quickly before slapping it shut and putting it away again.
So can we do that? Can we trade the 2 donkeys out from the cart, pull them off the cart, and put Kinwin there instead? Is it capable of that kind of change?
Yeah, it's just a matter of fitting it to him, and which does take a little bit of time, but in order and there's so Kinwin, I will allow for you to spend all of your wild shapes to get in there and be the pole as long as you possibly want to.
Yeah, that was my next question. So how long is he pulling the cart at that point?
Yeah, well, I only have one more use, so that would be 1 extra hour.
1 extra hour. Yeah. So.
Of course, it'll give the donkey some rest, though.
Yeah, that's entirely fine.
Yeah,
So
I'll allow it.
They'll be fresh.
yeah, Shay'll definitely lead one of the 2 along the way, or both if nobody else is doing the other one.
Lagon's helping with that. Lagon and Darius are helping with keeping Clip and Clop kind of moving forward.
Okay.
Since they're the characters that are not here today, they're kind of in NPC duty.
All right. So we are 2 hours down the road when the ponies have to get back to work.
Coffee. One
Yes.
quick question.
Sure.
The music is rather intense.
It is. Why is it this intense?
Why are we in combat?
Dun dun dun. Oh, just things underground we don't know about. Graboids, man. Graboids.
Oh, thanks. Oh, audience cannot hear music.
Oh, is it too low?
I think it might be.
Oh. Well, I shall have to adjust that.
I'm not hearing music either.
We're
I
just
mean, I
jamming out
can't
of
hear
it.
it, but I muted the tab.
It
I
is
always
very
tend
low.
to turn it down for me because I'm I'm easily distracted. So I may need to turn up the OBS desktop audio or something. I don't know.
Chat, how is the
Uh,
music now?
Yeah, the Abyss said I hear faint running water, I think.
Oh, that's probably picked up from my microphone because there's a cat water fountain behind me.
Oh, I don't hear faint running water from you.
Oh, that
Don't I?
my
Neither do I.
OBS is very, very sensitive compared to Discord. So
Fair enough. I know that. I know that plight. I mean, running water is very relaxing.
It
so
is.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Yep. And the party is now on the road and moving forward in that regard.
So like once Kinwin isn't a horse anymore, I mean, Shay has all kinds of questions.
Rune,
Like,
and you see in the background, Rune's got his notebook open as Shay goes on and like begins with, "I have a question." Like as soon as that happens, he just
like, yeah, like how? So, what- is a horse the rule? Like, so is it just a horse?
It's whatever animal I've seen, but I have to get stronger in it to be able to morph into stronger animals or like animals that can fly.
Oh, okay. So there are like levels to it.
That's
Yes.
one way of putting it.
That is kind of incredible. And again, a lot to process myself anyway. Uh, mm. So it can only last like the. Can you do it for longer? Like you just got tired, or
Yes, I can only maintain it for about an hour for each use of it I do.
And if you were a horse again, could you be a different colored horse, or is it always got to be the gray horse?
I have just gained this ability, and turning into the horse was the first time I've used it, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. So we can maybe look forward to like other renditions?
Possibly, yes.
Oh, that's
It was
incredible.
interesting being a horse for a bit.
I mean, if you ever want to be a horse again and you want to try a black horse, those are my personal favorite.
I'll see what I can do.
So, like, does a bug count as an animal? Like, could you turn into a beetle or a ugh, I hate to say it, but a spider?
Yes.
Yes, but only one.
Oh, so River, if you were a spider, technically you'd have 8 legs, so you'd have 7 to fall back onto.
I have not considered that. It does make sense, though.
And I mean, there are such things as giant snakes, which I have now learned, so maybe there are such things as giant spiders.
Oh, they are.
Oh, that is. I was really kind of hoping you were like, no, no such thing.
River and
they
Kinwin,
were
you've
all-
probably seen a fair share of giant spiders in your day.
But
all-
mostly
they're
it was
all
just if
over.
I was just thinking if you didn't want to be, tiny and squishable, giant. Giant snakes. So, the theory would say there is potentially a giant version of everything.
Kinwin. I also have questions. You say that this power that you achieved has only recently been acquired. How did you understand how to use it? By what means were you...
I was
Did you...
raised by druids all my life. I've known the theory of it for quite a while.
So it was a magic of your hermitage, I suppose.
You could say that, yeah.
I see. Where does this magic originate from? You've mentioned the Wild Mother. Did that transmit?
Yes,
Oh,
all
okay.
all our magic stems from the wild mother and the land.
Rune's eyes just kind of like a cat when it hones in on something. Explain to me, what is the Wild Mother and your relationship with this being?
It is the earth beneath our feet, the trees that give us oxygen and fruit, the wild beasts of the land, and the rain that comes down upon it.
See. Personification of the natural world. Rune
Exactly.
closes his book again. I understand. This has been very informative. Thank you.
Anytime.
And he puts his book away and just kind of continues on the trail, rather content with finding out this information, getting more details on it. I do want to roll to see if I know anything lore-wise associated with the Wild Mother, if this is just something specific to his hermitage, or if it's like a thing.
Well, you would know the basics of the most common creation myth, which is posted in the Roll20. But the basics are that the Wild Mother created the land and is the land, and the oceans are her tears because of some corruptions to the beings, and that she and the Dawn Father Pelor and the Soul Forger Moradin created. And you know the basics of that, but if you want to know more, you could do a religion check.
I always want to know more.
Yeah, because Shay has some interest in the crystal thingy, and that was tied to the Wild Mother. I'm also curious if Shay has heard, if Shay could do a religion check as well,
Shade.
or a history, any of the two, whether it's academic or religion based. Let me know.
You probably would, because religion isn't permitted in the Grioran Empire. You probably
Yep,
would
I am
approach
not
it.
proficient in it.
Yeah, you would approach it from a historical. So I'll allow a history check, but it's going to be more difficult for you.
Fair enough.
It couldn't possibly be more on brand for a character who's atheist in a world of gods. But Rune rolled a 3 and has a 3 to religion, so the total is.
Yeah, I got an 8. So
You know the basic mythology, but you haven't really studied much in the way of
religion
anything.
is boring.
Fuck religion. That's where we're at.
That's probably also you have a stray thought, Shay, that maybe that's the reason that Emperor Lythel kind of and his predecessors banned religions in the first place. They're boring.
Yeah. Nope, useless.
And so the Rune,
I feel like
You've
Shay's
never-
just blankly staring at this point.
Rune, you've never had a strong interest. Even the basics of the story kind of like it's child's play. It's a story to tell.
Gods have no stand. Not to my comprehension. He thinks to himself. He doesn't say it out loud because he doesn't want to be disrespectful, because he understands that, everyone has a right to their own beliefs. But yeah, Rune is not a religion.
No, all of you know kind of the basics, but that's really about it. That she's basically the creator of the land itself, and that was her role in mythos. It's really about all you know. But you continue to walk with your donkeys now tied to the cart, and you yourselves doing most of the walking, and taking the time to take breaks where you need to, and kind of
As we're
walking along
walking?
the path. Mm-hmm.
As we're walking, River just kind of slows down and ends up at the back of the group.
Okay.
I would
Do I
like
see this happening?
I would like to do this stealthily if I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roll a stealth versus since Shay.
I mean, my passive is 13, so I imagine this is just to see if I even notice her backing up.
Yeah. Notice her backing
You would
Would it
definitely
have
notice
been
me backing
possible
up.
to get in a short rest?
up. No, you're continuing to walk.
You would notice I'm backing up.
What was your stealth? 8.
The 3.
Yep.
I rolled a 3.
I think
guess
most
could
everyone
I
would
try
notice.
and stealthily watch? I mean, that's what Shay's gonna try and do, depending unless anybody else reacts.
Yeah, make me a perception. And then River, if you're still actively trying to do something a little bit sneaky, it's either going to be a stealth or sleight of hand.
I'm gonna try another stealth.
All right, I got a 17.
Depends on what it is, actually. What were you trying to do?
17 for perception.
It's gonna be a wild shape, but I'm
Oh.
trying not to get noticed.
Oh, okay.
14.
Yes, that would kind of be a sleight of hands / stealth. I think
That's
stealth is
14
fine.
for stealth.
14 for stealth. And Shay got 17 on perception.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh yeah, you pick up on the fact that he's kind of slowly drifted back to the back of the group, and has started to assume a shape much in the same way that Kidwin did. River, how does yours look a little different?
So, River pauses for a second. He puts his good hand on the ground, and his clothes start to blend in with his fur. His fur starts to get a bit darker. He turns into a giant spider. He still has the stripes, although he's no longer orange. He's now brown. He turns into a giant spider.
Okay, a brown and black giant spider. A giant spider is considered a beast. You checked on that?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna walk up to Shay.
And this giant spider isn't, just like your palm size kind of giant spider that we typically think. No, how big is it, River?
Let me double.
Well, Shay's. I was gonna ask if I needed to roll deception. I wasn't sure if anybody else
beast.
was trying to
Large.
see. But if
Large.
Shay's the only one who sees it, she's gonna pretend not to notice and keep it to herself. Unless the giant spider comes walking up to say hello.
The giant spider is walking up to say hello.
Who has a passive perception greater than 14?
Not me.
I do. 15.
Okay, Vanya, you would have spotted that this is River, but when the giant spider starts walking with the group, Rune and Kinwin are likely not going to know it's River. So
That's incredible!
Bonnie's just shaking her head. This is gonna
All you
go
get in response is a
funny
little
to
hiss.
horrible.
Shay's just calling it out.
Yep, she's shouting it. Like as soon as she realizes that the spider is going like to walk up and like there's the like other people are going to notice. Yeah, she's making sure. She's making sure everybody knows.
And this is a large giant spider. This is like
yeah,
bigger than a
in the
humanoid.
same
Donkeys.
way, like super glad. I mean, not to be a bother, but I did see it happen, so I'm very glad that I know it's you.
River just takes one of his legs and pats on her head.
It's a little
How's the
prickly.
like thing, by the way?
What was that?
Sorry.
No, what have you said?
Oh, I asked how the leg thing was, by the way.
You would see that two of his legs he's holding into the air. He's not putting weight on them.
Does it look like an angry spider?
Well, they're on the same side.
Oh, okay.
And when he pats one of his spidery legs on top of your head, it is a little prickly, because there is the little kind of, wall climby kind of hook that spiders have on the ends of their legs.
I know it's
Places a
River,
lock of your hair.
but it's still a disturbingly large spider, so like she knows it's River. And that's when she actually turns to Kinwin and says, "So when you were a horse, I forgot to ask, are you still you? Like totally and wholly still you?"
Mentally, yes. Physically, no.
Right. So like you didn't get the feeling like you felt inclined to kick somebody like a horse reflexively does sometimes. Like,
Nope.
I don't know if I would be able to control my reflexes.
No, but
she
mentally
looks-
you'd be aware of your surroundings and who you're with, so you wouldn't have that kind of spook factor.
But yeah, she kind of looks back at the spider. Not no, of course no disrespect intended. Just for science. Obviously, Rune has stepped away, but she's just like for science and like specifically looks at Rune, of course.
Throwing this out here, that silk tends to sell for pretty good.
I wonder if we can hook River up to the cart.
Well, that'll get some attention, I'm sure.
Like, River walking amongst us as a
So I
giant
guess-
spider isn't attention grabbing already.
Yeah, so I guess
Yeah.
at this point, Kinwin and Rune would have seen that there's a giant spider following you guys. And Shay did shout out that it's River.
Yes, and you would know that the kind of fixings that would be attached to the cart are meant for beasts of burden like horses and donkeys and other creatures shaped much like that. That it wouldn't necessarily work on a creature that has a very small abdomen and a very large thorax.
Fun fact, spiders are actually terribly fragile. A fall can split a tarantula's abdomen wide open, the more you know.
Look, because it wears its bones on the outside. Fun fact. But you are free to walk as a spider, River, for as long as you dare possible. As long as you deem necessary. Which might have been, with the intention potentially to spook some of your brother mates, but none of them seem to be spooked by the fact that you're a giant spider.
Shay is definitely uncomfortable, but she knows it's River, and Kinwin just said he was still in control of his faculties, so, aside from just, it's a spider and like, she's definitely got, but she knows it's River. It's River. Trying not to be offensive, but if you were looking for a reaction, Shay will give you one, because it does make her uncomfortable.
Upon seeing the spider, Rune would have put his hand to the wrench, and waited for any sort of reaction. But then once he started to see that the spider was really relaxed and chill,
And Shay also called out that it was River, so.
yeah, and also being that called out, he would have taken his hand off slowly and relaxed again. Eventually pulling out his book to draw said giant spider.
It's definitely very cool looking because it's kind of a brown and black striped, which you probably have never really seen that kind of patternage on a spider before. It kind of reminds you of River's kind of striped patterns, where maybe he purposefully made his colors to represent the fact that he's a beast folk.
He's got questions for River now.
River will turn back after probably like 15 minutes of goofing off as a spider.
It's pretty fun to climb around in the trees a little bit with your spidery legs. It's not nearly as hindering as you could still feel the weight of yourself on a couple of your appendages. Now it doesn't spread to just one. There's two that you have to baby a little bit when it comes to weight, but you kind of dance around a little bit in this little form. You've maybe transformed into other things in the past, but this feels like the burden of your arm is a little freed. You feel a little freer in this form with the burden of it spread over two legs instead of just one arm. But you transform back, and your arm is still as weak and unusable as it was previously now.
Shay, you have some very good eyes.
When they work, I do.
I was trying to speak you.
No, it's I mean, oh,
You just hear a chuckle from Lagon and Darius as they're leading
I
the
can
donkeys.
I can appreciate that. I am glad I saw but it's still like that's it's really cool. Like what you and Kidwin could do, like that's amazing. As far as I know, I don't have a single magical inclination in a single bone in my body aside from me, I guess. But like I'm just nimble. Period. Nimble and smart. Period.
Magic is interesting. I only picked it up from Kinlan. Perhaps you could learn something.
Oh, well. That's a thought.
River and Kinwin, you would know that your practices, though, are fairly protected as far as learning it, though.
Really?
I
was
think-
brought in. I don't see why others can't.
You would know the Guildmaster made an exception for you. She doesn't often do that.
True.
It's fine. No, that's really cool. I mean, I don't mind. I'm perfectly fine with being nimbly and intelligent. I mean, I'm good with people. And I think there is validity in that. I think sometimes you need to be good with people, and if you all need somebody who's good with people, here I am.
Yeah, I'm not.
Left those people in the past. It's good to have one now.
Yeah, I mean, when I can help, anyway. Everybody's got their own strong suits, right?
Darius, kind of from as he's walking the donkeys with y'all, he kind of does that coin trick that he did before, kind of makes it disappear in his hand, and and just kind of looks over to Shay. Nimble isn't always a bad thing.
Oh, do you mean Darius?
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of looks. She'll look back at him, kind of like. I feel like you're suggesting nefarious behavior. It's just the look she gives, but that is it. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Wink.
He kind of gives you a wink back, and just continues forward.
Rune, can I see the? Would you mind? You were drawing the spider.
Yes.
Sorry,
feature-
I really like art, and yours is quite nice. And the road is long and dirty.
Oh. Yes. He shows the picture, and it's actually like a whole bunch of different studies and notes specifying like the differences between an average spider of that particular species versus what River transformed into, the differentiations. A couple questions like, does it produce venom? What sort of, like, does the webbing work the same? Things like that. It's very, very much like field notey, but
Also very quickly transcribed too.
I mean, so like, what, like, how is the, I guess, art style, essentially, like, good, like it's good. I guess I'm asking Coffee and
I'm gonna let Rune make the
Spectre.
make the call on what it looks like.
the way that Rune draws is it's very, half the time it's like very quick sketches that are very anatomically fixated. When I say like Da Vincian, I mean like there's a lot of focus on the detail of anatomy and structure and form.
Okay,
So,
fair enough. What I
yeah,
have to
but-
say is still valid. So yeah, so Shay will actually point out one of the pictures and say, you know, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but you know, for the art alone, have you ever considered, you know, drawing things to sell? You might actually be able to make a penny off some of your work, you know.
He thinks about it. It is not the field of focus that I excel at. There are other things that I prefer to do.
Fair.
And he holds out his hand. I can demonstrate if you wish.
She starts to like reach for your hand, like confused with what you're doing, but then she kind of pauses and she's like, "Okay." Do I?
Do you have an item that you could give me?
Oh,
Just for a moment.
Yeah, and she kind of goes into her bag and pulls out a ring with the La Vista crest on it, if you're familiar with that. Otherwise, it's just a ring, a signet ring.
I'm not sure if he would be familiar with the La Vista family.
You've been through the Griorn Empire. That's in Vampire I call that a politics check. But what do I do here?
I imagine it'd be history.
History's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make me a history check.
13 plus 5, 18.
You would know that the La Vista name, especially this crest, is kind of familiar a little bit to you because it does have a lot of the same kind of symbols that Phoenix Wonder prizes, the large kind of goods kind of shipping and importing and exporting business of the Griorn Empire carries. And so thinking back, the La Vista name kind of makes sense to you because Arasara La Vista, the head of the business, is a very prominent figure in the council of the Griorn Empire. She is a councilwoman to Emperor Lythel himself.
Yeah, me lovely adopted mother.
Ah.
Because I think I meant I gave her name with everybody the night the change happened.
And the signet ring, the crest, just kind of solidifies that in your head as you're thinking about it.
Hmm. Interesting. He inspects it for just a quick moment, and then he is going to do magical tinkering,
Okay.
utilizing that as an artificer.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you touch an object and you can do something cool with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Just a small effect.
What small effect are you putting on the ring?
Yes, what am I about to be amazed by?
So he looks at the crest and he takes basically sits there and shine what looks to be like a small cloth and shines it for a second. And then he takes his hand, and from the cracks of his armor, gold light begins to glow. And he just puts his palm over the crest of the ring and reveals it, and there is the ring basically uttering out like a little flashlight from the crest.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
So yeah,
And then it's only bright light in a 5-foot radius and dim light for an additional 5 feet.
Okay.
But
I don't have dark vision, so she's very excited.
You have a I'm gonna even say that it's gonna be more like a 5-foot cone in front of you, where you point the ring in a direction, and in that 5-foot cone you have bright lights, and in that additional 5 feet it's dim light. But you basically have a ring flashlight now.
and I believe that property stays until I just
I believe it counts as one of your infusions.
No, actually, it looks like it can affect a number of objects equal to my intelligence modifier at a time, so that's like 3 objects at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And the effect stays until I decide that it doesn't stay.
Okay, until you decide to end it. Okay, because you can only have 3 max. Okay.
Yep.
So it is permanent until Rune says otherwise.
So yeah, so Shay watches you do this totally transfixed, and it starts to glow. And like she watches you do this, and she is transfixed quietly, being good. Uh, but like once you give it back, she's just like, you do give it back, I'm assuming.
Yes, absolutely.
She actually slides it onto her finger, and she just says, like this is super cool. I can't see in the dark. It hasn't really come up yet. I know some things can. I can't. And I love this. And she shines it around like a child.
It especially works because it is starting to get to around dusk as you're traveling.
Yeah, she says, I don't like to wear brands of my family because I don't like anybody to make assumptions about me. Um, uh, because of that, but I think I'm gonna keep this on. Like this is fantastic. Thank you. That's magic is cool. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
It is my capacity and ability to affect items around. I can't
So-
necessarily say it is a magic more than a type of science that is implemented in my system.
Now I
He
need
holds
to
his
add
hand and glows it again.
Now I need to add a ring.
Glow ring. It's like a little brave
There we
light.
So she's like, so how long does this last? She's just
Indefinitely. Until I decide to turn it off.
okay. Well, it's fine if you. I love it. I appreciate it. This is fantastic. Now I can see in the dark. But if you have to drop it for some reason, of course, don't worry about it. I'll find other means. But This is really cool. Thank you. Thank you, Rune.
Maintain it as long as you wish. And he nods politely.
Oh,
You, when he turns away, you see there is, kind of this little glow in his eyes. And it's almost like he's somewhat pleased with himself. Like if you
got some swagger.
put a little, it's kind of like dancing lights in his eyes, like he's just pleased.
Well, she's thrilled, so she will endorse that. As she pretty much until we finish traveling, she is acting like a 5-year-old that just got a new toy.
Well, unless there is more to do in the woods here, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and jump you all back to Seameat Canal, and it will be a fresh day. And I'll also take a break, as I need a moment to refresh myself. You all can get up and stretch and have a moment for yourself. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with more Rebirth, as Lagon and Darius will be going to secure means of travel outside of the island, and we'll decide where it is that the party's going to go next. So, be back soon, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to Rebirth, a D&D Tale. Our party has made their way back to the Seameat Canal, where they all initially met each other, and now are making their way back to the tumbled wench, potentially to find this gnome that they had received this job from. And upon entering the city, you go through the slums districts, the sort of destitute, impoverished sections of the city, making your way back towards the canal itself, through the city, into the heart of business here, where taverns are plenty, market stalls are full, where you can find just about anything you need going through this area. Lagon and Darius have separated off for themselves to go and see if they could find Captain Badger, to see if they could book and arrange passage for you all. But they are curious where it is that they're going to go. Where you all are going to go. Are you going to Argyll, or where the Anne Bonny is headed on an escort mission, or are you going somewhere else? Or do you need to book passage somewhere else?
Were we going to? I know we were talking, looking up stuff for Shay. So, were we planning to go to one of the libraries or somewhere else?
Yeah, I thought we were talking about going to one of the libraries, but I don't like remember which one.
I
The
probably
library in
remember which one.
Sherfall Glades that may have information about Doppels.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because Kinwin
I figure we
got
still
some of
have
that.
that cart to return and that guy to report to about the crystals first.
Yeah. And I mean, returning the card as soon as we get into town would definitely be one of the first priorities. I'd like to get that 4 gold back.
Yeah, that's easily done.
Okay, cool.
I would also stop by the market and purchase a tent.
Okay. Let me look up the price for a tent.
It's 2 gold for a 2-person tent, but I really just need a 1-person tent.
Okay. So, yeah, there's not much in the way of as far as establishing a different price for a one person tent, because that's a 2-person tent can fit one person very, very comfortably, or two people side by side to each other. Oh, I hear purring. Hi, Dagger.
He decided he was gonna sniff around my mic.
Oh, hi, baby.
Actually, it's River being very proud of himself for doing that. Yeah, I'll go ahead
There
by
we go.
the 2-person tent.
Okay, 2 gold it is. Go ahead and mark that off on your sheet.
Yep.
And then, but that does add an additional 20 pounds to your gear, so you'll want to make note of that too. Because that comes with all of the poles and stakes and everything that's involved in making in setting up the tent itself.
I mean, I'm gonna put it probably on the pack mules. Anyways.
Okay. And who is keeping track of how much gear is on the mules at the moment?
I've been kind of tracking it.
Okay.
Right now, unless we get pack saddles, they've got nothing without the cart.
Oh, right. Yeah, because you'll need pack saddles in order to put those on there anyway.
Yeah, how much, if we're going around and doing any shopping before we head to the Guildmaster, I'd, talk to everybody about, what do we want to do with the donkeys? Like, do we want to get pack saddles for them and go with that, or do we want to invest in a cart, like a wagon for them to pull? Because, like, what would be the, I guess, cost difference between a wagon and just 2 pack saddles?
2
wanna
pack
go-
saddles. So just to kind of give you an idea of pricing, pack saddles are 5 gold each. And then you said it was also, you were looking into a wagon?
Mm-hmm. We talked about a wagon that could pull all of us.
That would make
Travel
travel
the
faster.
Sherfall. We won't be able to bring it.
And
Yeah, it would be easier on a boat with just the pack saddles and the donkeys, I would expect.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Sir, that is my mic. Can you not?
a wagon is 35 gold and carries 400 pounds.
Yeah, so 10 gold versus 35 gold.
It weighs 400 pounds.
Oh,
It
weighs 400.
carries 5 times the pack animal.
Oh, okay.
Can I wear 2 backpacks?
That depends. What are you putting in your backpacks? Because a bag...
I'd roll mess kit, 8 rations, 50 feet of rope, stowing kit, tinderbox, torch, and water skin. The one backpack that says I have says that's at 51 over 30 pounds. Or maybe I could just move some of this stuff.
You could just
onto the
move some of
dock.
it. If you take a pack saddle, then some of that can be moved to a pack saddle. If you take a wagon, some of that can be moved to your wagon. It just depends on whether or not you want to use it as a if you want to have them be just pack mules for you.
Yeah, I mean, I have 5 gold in total. 4 gold, 10 silver, thanks to Kinwin.
I have 12 gold and change.
I've got 15 gold. Oh.
14.
Okay.
I've barely spent anything so far.
You all can afford to buy a wagon of your own, or 2 pack saddles. It's your choice.
Yeah, I think either way, I know Shay's gonna be wanting to find some paying work after. I guess what does everybody else think? I'm kind of thinking maybe if we invest in a wagon down the road, we'll trade in the 2 donkeys for actual draft horses, and just go with pack saddles for now.
I agree. Sounds
Alright,
like
so
a
just
better
pack
idea.
saddles for now.
Seconded.
Yes. So we
All
just
right.
need
Yeah.
10 gold in total for the 2 of those, and
Mm-hmm.
so if they're I guess we could just assume maybe Darius and Lagan are sitting out. Don't want to make them have to spend their money when they're not here. So there's 5 of us. If each of us put in 2,
Yep, sounds good to me.
That works.
all right. So
Okay.
I think Coffee, go ahead and do that. Get 2 pack saddles for 10 gold if possible. At 2 gold per person.
All right. Your donkeys
I
now
gotta,
have 2 pack saddles. One
I gotta
each.
mention
Go ahead.
one thing. So Rune put all of his money into buying the donkeys in the first place because he said
Oh,
he would
wait.
cover it way back when. So I don't have the 2
Oh.
gold to spare.
So Shay did too, because I thought Shay was paying for all of them. So
I can pay the 2 for Roan.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean I can cover Rune if we want to keep it that with Rune paid for the donkeys.
I remember, yeah, I don't remember the specifics, but we got the 2 donkeys, rented out the wagon. I had like 10 or 15 gold, and I put all of that towards. I pooled with Lagan for all of that, so.
Yeah, because the donkeys would have been
'Cause,
8 gold
yeah.
each.
Yeah, because I know there were like resources that were bought, and then I thought, because I had 22, so it was like 14 for the 2 mules, and then 19 in total. Because it was 14 for the 2 mules, and then 5 for the cart lease, and then I just got the refund of 4. So I had pulled all of that out of mine for them.
Yeah. So I I have no money.
Well, if Shay did all of that, then you would still have money, Rune.
Would I?
Yeah. Yeah, because if Shay bought the donkeys and did because she was the one present at the stables, then you would still have your money left.
I definitely
Lagan
pooled
bought
for something.
rations.
But I know, like, there was some talk about Lagan buying supplies, and I think there was some split there, but then there was some, I don't think, in the end, Shay went to the stable, but I don't know what the split was. I didn't write that down.
I'm pretty sure it was rations for the donkeys and for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it ended up being like pretty spendy
pricey,
on
yeah.
top of that. So I put my resources towards that. So I know I don't have any money left as a fact because I pooled with Lagan for that.
Okay.
So, Kinwin, you sure you want to cover that? I mean, I don't mind putting in. I mean, yeah, I don't have a lot of money, but we're gonna need to go find work anyway.
Yes, no problem.
Okay.
So that covers all of the monetaries. Thus,
2 pack saddles and 2 donkeys. That's what we got.
2 pack saddles, 2 donkeys. That was where we're sitting right now.
And a tent.
And a tent. Tent is sitting in the pack saddle.
Which did you officially give that to Shay, River?
Yeah, he would have, while you were probably putting the pack saddles on, would just slipped it in and said, "This is for you."
Shay would have immediately looked at what it was, and been like, "Oh, that's so kind of you. Is this just your way of saying you want your bedroll back?"
No, but also yes.
Well, I appreciate it either way.
All right. I believe that covers that. So the next stop would be Rune. You'd want to get in touch with your friend Orman.
Mm-hmm. and that's what he does. Either he would be at the guild or he would be still at the tavern. I don't know. Where would I find him normally?
You can find him either place. It's during the day he's usually at the guild, kind of, doing research or meandering or maybe working on something. And during the evenings he's often found at the Tumbled Wench.
Got it. Okay. And it's during the day still, so Rune is going to take the party to the guilds.
Lagon
I
and
imagine-
and Darius would go and set up passage. They just need to know where we're going.
Shortfall
Next.
Glade.
Trafalgar Glades? Going towards our guild? Okay.
Need to get in on that library.
Alright. Then he's going to go see then the two of them are gonna go see if the Ambani is not left yet, and if they have not, then they are going to set up passage on the Ambani. While the rest of you can go about your business.
So Shay is happily tagging along with Rune to go to the next order of business.
Which all of you can
Okay.
go there if you like.
Awesome.
I'm looking at the map, and it doesn't seem to be a way to get from boat straight to Surefall. But if we go to Tri Point first, then we'd be able to go on foot to Surefall from there.
Well, based on the map, the blue outlines that you see are the known safe passages. As far as where it is the safest to to sail. Now, the safest route takes y'all to Red Hawk Keep, and then you would walk to Surefall from there. Because Surefall is in the middle of the woods in the middle of the continent. You would know that, Kinwin. And so, everything kind of goes through Red Hawk Keep, which is the capital of Argyll. Somebody's buzzing real bad in their background.
Yeah, that works too. I just figured Tri Point was closer to Keanos Hills.
Right, but there's no big there's no big sailing route that down that way. It doesn't often go that way. It goes often by road.
Ah, okay.
Because the roads are safer than the waters. Especially this far south, because easily the Antarctic oceans of this area do freeze over around the desolate rocks. But that is where you would head in the first place, is towards Red Hawk Keep. But they'd be booking a passage that direction, and the rest of you can make your way towards the guild. And when you arrive, there is there are some other guild members, but you do see that Orman is kind of tinkering with something in his at his little work desk.
Rune approaches. He pulls out his journal and unfolds a piece of paper from it. And it's actually several pieces of paper of notes that he took while they adventured.
Mm-hmm.
He presents it to Orman and lays it on the desk in front of him.
Hello. I had not expected you to be back so soon.
The travel was rather easy. accomplish, but
Oh, good.
as far as acquiring the materials that you requested, we were unable to, well, retrieve them. As suspected, they did not move. But for more information, I have details in the notes. He slides them a little for him, and
And
crystal.
he starts thumbing through the journal, kind of looking at your notes, kind of thumbing through all the pages.
And the notes have everything, including like several like diagrammatic pictures that sketches that he drew up of the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of glows and powers they seem to emit, properties or components he was able to identify, and Dradith. He wasn't sure what Dradith necessarily was or anything like that, but as far as the information he was able to gather on that, it's all in there. There is nothing in there regarding Shay or the party. None
Now,
of that is in there.
question, do you have more than one journal? Because you've only mentioned the one.
I only have the one journal, but he pulled out the notes from that journal as separate papers.
Oh, okay. I didn't have clarity on that. Sorry. So,
You're fine.
so he's kind of thumbing through all of these things and kind of looks at one of the sheets that says the one that says Dradith on it, and he kind of strokes his chin a little bit. What? I'm not sure I'm getting the whole picture here. What does this have to do with Dradith?
That is my question as well. I'm not sure what a Dradith is.
Well,
Not entirely.
It's the name of the country across Argyll. Past Argyll is Dradith.
The crystal named itself as Dradith.
That's absurd.
Wasn't that the case, Coffee?
It was the case, but he's saying it's absurd.
The circumstances are rather unusual.
I don't know. This seems. Of course, I appreciate all of these notes, and perhaps a summary of what it is that you all read across might make some of this make more sense.
Kinwin, didn't you have some more details on the Doradus relation?
He identified himself as a Titan that was imprisoned by the Wild Mother.
By the Wild Mother.
Right.
Alright. Sounds a little fairy tale-ish. I do also
Both
hear a
me
lot of
and
background
Madame
buzzing from you,
tried to
Spectre.
meditate on it, but got nothing.
Oh, I was just saying, I hear a lot of background buzzing from you, Spectre. Sorry. What were you saying, Kinwin?
Both me and Lagan attempted to meditate on it to receive guidance from the Wild Mother, but we got nothing.
Well. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, I was hoping to have a sample or something to fiddle with. I guess I'll
Well,
To resist
weren't-
even magical attempts to move it.
Yeah, weren't we also of the mind that interfering with the crystal, such as removing parts of it, might endanger the seal and potentially release a Titan?
I don't know.
That is possible.
The Titans have been extinct for millennia.
Well, there's one that identifies as a Titan, apparently within that crystal we went to.
Have you not heard
Never.
of the calamity of Shonaruth?
Yes, I have. This is why I'm very hesitant on trying to release whatever it is in that crystal.
Shonaruth,
Or
upon its crashing
restrictions
on
to
the
them.
world, destroyed all of the Titans.
Are you sure of that, though? You weren't there.
Well, maybe I wasn't. I'm not that old. That's millennia ago.
It's entirely possible that this Titan was sealed.
I don't know. I
They
don't.
thought they killed all the Titans.
Sorry, what?
Maybe they only thought they killed all the Titans.
Perhaps? I'm not exactly a
Rune.
historian, I'm an arcanist.
Rune, without realizing he's doing it, he tightens his hands into deep fists.
Is something wrong?
No. We have more research to conduct. We'll go and investigate regarding this Dradith Titan. But along with that, my companions are seeking a means of payment.
Yes, of course. I wasn't about to keep you from, your payments, of course. And it was, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 5 of you. There's where are the other 2?
They've
Superior
gone
to
to
travel.
Oh, okay. So they are still with you. Haven't
Yes.
perished. Oh, fantastic. I was worried. I was quite worried there for a moment. I would hate to see creatures get I don't know, made perished because of some evil speaking inanimate object.
Can I do an insight? I just want to know if somebody actually died, if he would actually feel sorry for it. I'm not planning on doing anything with that. I just want to know
Okay, make an
if that
insight
is
check.
sincere.
Make an insight check.
Also,
All right.
I
Coffee,
can cast
really
guidance
fast.
to give her an extra D4 on that.
Also,
I get-
Coffee,
To
Yeah,
be
can he do that?
No, because he wouldn't know that you're trying to incite.
That's fair. All right.
So sadly,
11.
Gimlin, I'm not going to allow for that. What were you going to say, Spectre?
could you please change the music? It's a little unusually spooky.
That is very spooky.
There we go. Thank you.
So what was the roll?
Oh, 11.
He's a little hard to read, Shay. You're not sure if the kind of pauses in his speech are because he's trying to think of the word to say, or if there's something in his past that he's dealt with in similar fashion before. You can't tell which it is.
Indecisive. Moving on.
All right. Well, and he kind of pulls up his pulls out a little bit of a kind of a small, looks like a locked box. It has a lock on it, which he kind of pulls a key out from around his neck and twists the key, opening the box to reveal a kind of felt bag on the inside. And then when he kind of reaches his rather small three-fingered hands into into the bag, he starts bringing out handfuls of gold and starts kind of counting it in front of you, uh, and counts out 35 gold. Kind of closes the string on the bag once more, closes the box, locks it up, and sticks it back in his desk. Yeah, there you are. He kind of shoves the pile towards you. And that should suffice, yes?
Should be 5 for each.
Yeah, that would be 5 for each of us.
I very much appreciate these notes here, Rune. You don't mind if I keep them, do you?
Would be my pleasure. I have an additional copy.
Oh, fantastic. Always thinking ahead of you.
Speaking of,
Mm.
Coffee, where was the place we were going to? What was the name of the place?
Red Hawk Keep in the country of Argyll.
Gotcha. We will be journeying to Red Hawk Keep in Argyll. Continue the research behind this Dradith crystal.
Ooh, fantastic.
While I am there, since I can act as a representative for the guild, is there any particular work you would like me to conduct?
Well, definitely the research on this, whatever this Dradith is. That's also the name of the country, I suppose. Whatever that is, I'd certainly love to know it. But as far as a very specific task to put you to, I don't exactly have anything lined up per se. But if you wanted to bring some, trinkets or specimens or samples of any kind, I'd certainly compensate you for those once you brought them back. I don't have anything on the docket at the moment, though.
Understood. Perhaps I can bring...
Ooh. However, if you do run across residuum, I'm very keen on learning more about it. As a lot of arcane, even the mundane things revolve around using residuum as a component to their function, and I would very much like to know what all that's about. Raw or refined is fine.
Very well. If I may, I will be taking a token of emblem for our guild.
Oh, yes.
I intend to conduct smith work in order to continue production across the way, and hopefully bring you more customers.
Well, that would be lovely. If I can, add, magical components to metal, then it would make just making things that much easier when it comes to, the manufacturing of these wonderful goods that we have in our world these days.
I agree. And with that, he kind of looks expectantly to Orman, wanting to get like some sort of emblem or token, maybe like a medallion or something that he can use as representative of the guild.
Yeah, he hops down from his seat and goes towards a kind of back room area where you hear he uses a bit of a stepladder to get up something. Being a very small creature, and you hear the steps down the stepladder, and then him come out of that room with a with an emblem that you could wear on your person, on on a shield or anything like that, and hands it to you.
Rune takes it. You said it was a what?
It was a round emblem.
Round emblem. Is
It
it
just
made of
has-
metal?
It is made of metal.
Rune takes it, and a series of component parts open up and around his chest area, like kind of like Iron Man, and he sets the medallion in there, and then the pieces back into place and settle it right there in center of the chest.
Orman just watches in curiosity. That is fascinating.
There are several pieces to me that are capable of these functions. I am able to implement most metal materials or components that I wish into my own system and circuitry.
Ooh.
To what extent I have not identified nor explored.
Well,
Not entirely.
any further kind of experimenting that you do, I'm more than keen on learning. You fascinate me, my metal friend.
He nods. When I have the opportunity to learn more about it, I will send you notes.
Yes, please.
And with that, he just swivels, starts marching towards the docks. I will keep you updated, Orman. Take care.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Oh, cripes. Those of you watching as Rune is kind of stomped out of the room. You see that Orman seems a little bit defeated, possibly because he didn't get the samples he wanted, but then starts going back to tinkering with whatever it was he was tinkering as you leave.
I guess we go straight to the ship.
Yep. And I believe that's where we're going to pick up next time. As the lot of you have made your way to the docks and will be setting sail for Red Hawk Keep to see if there's any information at the Surefall Glades for anything related to Dradiths or Doppels or what have you. But we'll work on that next time. So for now that we have completed the session, my players all get experience. So, yay!
Yay!
Yay! So, all of you who are at the table today get 5 for showing up. Thank you.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Had a lot of really great participation. I'm all about it. You guys are great. I am going to give you 2 experience for reporting back to Ormond about your finds. And then it's the roleplay elements of the story that we're getting to next. So we're gonna do that by who pushed the plot, who had the best scene, and who had the best line. So, which player or character moved the plot the furthest?
I would say probably Rune.
Yeah, Rune.
I third
But-
that.
By what justification? That's my confusion.
Yeah. Well, because you had the notes to give to the guy, which means we all got paid.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Mhm.
can accept that.
How much did we get paid?
Five
I
gold
told
5
each.
each.
Yeah, sadly you didn't bring any
Who
samples.
has the lowest gold in the party?
I don't know. Y'all
I
tell
have
me.
8 in total.
We're at 18 total.
I've been pretty loosey-goosey. Like, right off the get-go, I gave away 5 to homeless people. So, like, don't look at my 8 as, like, being poor. Shay's overly generous. It's a staple of her character.
It's true.
I love it.
It's true. Well, Kinwin was asking how much gold everybody has, kind of.
Oh. I have 5.
Because you were at 0.
I have 15 gold, 7 silver, and 8 copper.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give my part to Rune.
Oh.
Oh. Are you sure?
I haven't been spending much on the adventure so far, but you have. So, yes.
Oh, thank you. He's just... Rune is a very responsible guy. He tries to be.
Yeah.
He's like, these are the people I'm taking care of, therefore I take care of them.
He is essentially party dad.
Lagan is the cool dad. Rune is the responsible dad.
That's funny. But yeah, then Rune, you get that one experience for pushing the plot the furthest today.
You. You're all phenomenal. I actually really love this group. This is a great D&D group.
This is great. Yes, it is very great. So which character had the best scene?
I
Favorite-
want to say it's probably Shay with all the goddamn questions.
Sorry.
Well, we've done that kind of already once before.
I would think Kinwin with the animorph into a horse.
Yes, that too.
Especially because that triggered questions from both Rune and
Yeah.
Shay.
He's
Mm.
just like, behold.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like,
Look, I can just do this.
Yep, Kinwin making a little bit of a flex on the party. Yeah, I tend to agree as the DM. So,
I back that.
yep, Kinwin gets that one extra experience for having the best scene tonight, because it triggered Animorph covers in our heads. And who, out of the characters, had the best line tonight?
I'm actually torn between Shay and Rune. Shay for the maybe we can get a private room.
Honestly, I was thinking, in regards to what Shay had said over the course of this evening, I was thinking more towards so you'd be a 3-legged horse?
I love
for
it.
Rune, it's just that whole demonstrate.
Demonstrate.
Oh, demonstrate
Yeah.
was really good.
Both were pretty funny. Yeah, for sure.
God, I can just imagine Vanya, though, in the corner hearing Shay go, well, we could get a private room, and Vanya's just like, but does he have a dick? Vanya's just asking the real questions over here.
I'm very comfortable in saying that is not even anywhere close to what Shay is considering when she said that.
She was just like, well, can we hook River up to the cart then? River with the spider?
Oh, man.
So many good ones. Love it. Love to see it. So does anyone have a favorite out of those two? Because Raven said she's gonna toss up between those two.
I'd say Shay's private room.
I will give it to Shay because I already got a spare experience. I concede.
Oh,
Shay.
all right. Then Shay it is. Shay, you get that one extra experience for the roleplay prompt.
Thank you
And
guys.
I'm over here. I got distracted trying to, set up
You
set
got
up the
highly
poll.
distracted.
Viewer poll.
Yes, viewer poll. I'm gonna make it actually kind of
Shame.
short.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Shame circle.
I'm actually gonna make it fairly short because we're kind of running a little close on time. But go ahead and vote, audience, with exclamation point vote and the character name as you see them on the screen. So there's Kinwin, Vanya, River, Rune, and Shay, which is Seachran.
Shakran.
Yep, Shakran.
Sorry for being complex.
That's fine. I just typed it with with regular letters, so that everybody could do it pretty easily. But yeah, those are the 5 who are here today. How did you guys feel about the session today? It was a little bit more of a slow burn.
It's fine.
It had a lot of really good beats between
yeah.
everybody.
We're becoming a
I'm
crew.
okay with these. I'm okay with these travel episodes where we're just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Like
Messing
I'm
around.
not gonna throw like a whole lot at you when it comes to like travel episodes and things like that. It's more of an opportunity to say, okay, you're going from point A to point B. What do you want to do in the interim? If there's anything you want to do, otherwise it's a skip.
Yeah.
Because that's how I kind of view like overland travel. Because there's even at the number of you that there are. Anything below a CR3 is not a problem for you at all, even at the level that you're at. So most of the mooks are just that. They're just cannon fodder and a waste of time. And I would rather have an RP session than a battle session.
Well, and I'm going to say it. As a player who loves RP and having a character that is also totally on board, I am, and I know it's not going to be overnight, and that's perfect. That's the best. Slow burn. But freaking robot feels, man. I'm here for it. Just so you know, Spectre. I'm here for it.
Thank you.
I love it. I got that sniff, and I was like, I'm here for it.
Thank you. Rune has a special place in my heart because he's got a very interesting story, and I can't wait to tell people the story.
Especially when we started so strong with Shay, mind your fucking business.
Well, with that being said, you guys are getting to the point where you're probably going to need to start thinking of a group name.
Ooh, that's right.
Because while, you could sign off and get like random pockets of gold, if you want anything kind of signed over to you as far as like your group in general, say if, there's a generous benefactor out there somewhere, maybe somewhere, having a group name might be handy. Especially if you start getting a little famous.
I feel like we gotta do more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. That's fair enough. But that is something that you guys can keep in mind over the course of the game and out of character, and kind of toss up ideas in our group chat. If one strikes you, with the poll being over, we only got 1 vote in, and there's 11 of you out there. Some of you didn't vote. You know who you are. Rune, you get that audience favorite today.
Oh, wait, there was only one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Unanimously.
I'll take it.
It's Rune today.
Yeah.
The one member of the audience has spoken.
Great.
That's okay. The rest of the 10 are still fantastic. Still
Yes.
love you.
I love this group. I love the dynamic that you all have created so far, and I can't wait for more of the stories to unfold for the individuals because well, there's a lot more going on, and yeah. Well, that does it for us here in the D&D realm of Twitch. We're gonna go find somebody to raid. Let's go find somebody to raid. Let's see. Let's see. I think.
Derek's playing the dating sim still.
Yeah. Let's go give Derek a little bit of a give him some love for playing a dating sim. Yep. A Dead
Love
by
that.
Daylight dating sim.
Because we all
Called-
love to see him die a little inside.
So let's go show him a little bit of love because we do love our artists around here. So with that being said, have a good night, everybody, and we shall see you for the next episode of Austin by Starlight on Wednesday next week. So stay tuned. Session 1 for that. But we'll see you guys then.